In today's video, we're going to be going over all of the new big PlayStation 4 game releases this week, and while there aren't some juggernaut releases this week, there are a lot of cool titles that you need to be on the lookout for. On top of that, it looks like Devil May Cry 5 has been leaked and it will get its official announcement at E3 of this year. It's still a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt, but we've been hearing a lot about DMC5 and it looks as good to be as true as possible. On top of that, it looks like the Resident Evil 2 remake will finally make an appearance at E3. And H1Z1 continues to do monster numbers in terms of player counts. More on that in a little bit. First, let's go through all of the new PlayStation 4 game releases of the week, and there are some very cool titles that you need to be on the lookout for. First up, we have the Sega Mega Drive Classics Collection. That'll be releasing on May 29th, and as is the case with all of the Sega Mega Drive collections or the Sega Genesis collections, it's a collection of a bunch of Sega Genesis titles all in one package, and this one particularly has over 50 games, and some great games are included, such as Comic Zone, Golden Axe 2, as well as Golden Axe 3 is in there. The Phantasy Star games are in there. Shining Force 1 and 2 are in there. Shinobi 3 is in there. Sonic the Hedgehog, of course, has to be in there. The Streets of Rage titles are in there. Virtua Fighter 2 is in there. Wonder Boy 3 is in there, and Wonder Boy in Matcha World is also in there. Toe Jam and Earl is in there. A lot of great games. In total, with this collection, you are getting over 50 games, and best of all, it's coming at a budget price of $29.99. So think about the price you're paying for each individual game. That's pretty ridiculous and an amazing value. Now, of course, these are Sega Genesis games. It's not like they've been greatly remastered or rebuilt in any way, so if you're not very nostalgic with the Sega Genesis games, I don't know how much up your alley this is gonna be. However, if you're okay and even appreciate the old school game designs that these games offer, then you're gonna have a ton of fun with these, especially, again, considering it's only $30. If you have a Best Buy Gamers Club Unlocked subscription or you're an Amazon Prime member, you're only paying $24 for this collection. We've seen collections like this in the past on the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, the PSP even, and it's always a great value, especially if you're nostalgic with these games. Shift Quantum is an indie action-adventure puzzle platformer. It's got a really cool noir-style look to it. It'll be releasing on May 29th, and the description of the game states this: "Greetings, Subject 32763. Welcome to Shift Quantum, the latest version of our immersive experimentation system. Shift the world, twist your environment, bend your mind to unveil its secret, and solve each brain-drilling level while experimenting your own custom levels on other subjects." PC Gamer touted the game as the best puzzle games force you to think in a new way, and Shift Quantum looks to do just that, and Kotaku said probably my game of the show. The game looks pretty cool. It's got a very cool look to it and a title that hardly anyone is talking about, so make sure that's on your radar. It'll be releasing on May 29th. Maybe not one to pick up right away, see how the reviews turn out. Maybe down the line, once it's on sale, that's when you should pick it up. Maybe the biggest game release of the week, Agony, will be coming on May 29th. Agony is a highly anticipated survival horror title. It's played from a first-person perspective. We've been talking about the game quite a bit. It's been in development for a while, but it'll finally be releasing this week. The game has you begin your journey as a tormented soul within the depths of hell without any memories about your past. You have the special ability to control people on your path and possess demons that gives you the measures to survive. Survival horror games have been rather good this generation. We've seen great titles such as Frictional Games' Soma, even titles like Alien Isolation were pretty good. Of course, Resident Evil 7 was really good. So Agony is reaching for a somewhat high bar, but hopefully it delivers as it releases on May 29th. Another title we've talked about is Moonlighter. That'll be coming on May 29th as well. We actually have an in-depth video going over Moonlighter, and this looks to be one of the more promising games this year. It's got an awesome old school pixel art style, and what the game is, set during a long past archaeological excavation, a set of gates were discovered. People quickly realized that these ancient passages lead to different realms and dimensions, providing brave and reckless adventurers with treasures beyond measure. It has you play as a character named Will, who follows his everyday routines as a shopkeeper, but at the same time he dreams of becoming a known hero. Just looking at Moonlighter, it's gonna be a game that pleases a lot of gamers. It'll be releasing on May 29th. And finally, we also have For Valhalla, which is being released on May 29th, an action RPG where you hack, slash, and crush your enemies. Seems to have a little bit of a Castle Crashers vibe going to it, and that's definitely a good thing, and you can play the game solo or locally with friends, up to 4 players total. The game itself is set in a world where Norse mythology collides with Lovecraftian mythos, so that sounds pretty cool, a very interesting premise, and again, that game will be releasing on May 29th. So those are all of the major PlayStation 4 game releases this week. A lot of cool titles, nothing super big budget outside of Agony, but a lot of titles that could end up surprising us. Moving on from that, let's talk about some other news. Devil May Cry 5 is probably one of the games that most of us are expecting to see at E3. The rumor is that this Devil May Cry will feature the return of the classic Dante. We did see DMC Devil May Cry by Ninja Theory, and while it was a good game, a lot of gamers were turned off based on the stylization of that game, but DMC 5 looks to be coming at E3, and we've got more evidence that it'll be coming, as Daniel Southworth, the voice actor for Virgil, has put this out on Facebook. He said this, quote, "Throwback Thursday, DMC director Hideki Itsuno has a RL encounter with Virgil and Dante, and one of the things he hashtagged was hashtag E3. I think at this point it's a foregone conclusion we're gonna see Devil May Cry 5 at E3. There are rumors that this game will see some sort of PlayStation exclusivity, so this could be a title we see at the Sony press conference, as Capcom doesn't have their own major event at E3, but all signs are pointing towards that we are going to see DMC 5 at E3 of this year. Speaking of E3 of this year, Resident Evil 2 The Remake is a game that's being heavily rumored to show up at E3 of this year, a game that's been long in development, but we haven't heard anything about the title. However, according to the website Raylon Horror, sources close to the project have stated that the Resident Evil 2 Remake will likely be showcased at E3. This includes some sort of gameplay, and this is a title that so many gamers want to see. Resident Evil 2 is heralded as one of the best, if not the best, RE title, and the title itself is said to be running at 30 FPS at 1080p on the base PlayStation 4 and 60 FPS at native 4K on the PlayStation 4 Pro. At this point, take these rumors with a grain of salt, as a lot of crazy reports are going to come out during E3 time, but hopefully this one does come to fruition, because we've wanted to see more of the Resident Evil 2 Remake for quite a while, and E3 would be a great platform to showcase the title. Finally, H1Z1 did go into open beta last week, and it's been one of the biggest free-to-play games on the PlayStation 4. Of course, it's a Battle Royale title, so that was a foregone conclusion that the game would resonate with a lot of gamers. However, it has been seeing a lot of connection issues, but I can forego that for a little bit considering it is still an open beta, so that's not a big deal. However, in just 3 days, H1Z1 is boasting 4.5 players on the PlayStation 4 already. That is absolutely ridiculous. It started with 1.5 million players in the first 24 hours, so to triple that number in 3 days, that is ridiculous. I don't know if H1Z1 Battle Royale is going to give Fortnite a run for its money, but what I can say is it looks to be an absolutely massive game. Hopefully they get all the connection issues rounded out, and then this can definitely be a mainstay and a fixture to the PlayStation 4's free-to-play library, which has been quickly growing. And that is gonna conclude this video. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think about all of the new PlayStation 4 game releases this week? What titles are you gonna check out, if any? Personally, I think Agony and of course Moonlighter are two titles you should definitely have your eyes on. And if you are more of a nostalgia gamer, the Sega Mega Drive Classics Collection is gonna be one to pick up as well, especially at just $30. What are you hoping to see from Devil May Cry 5? It looks like that game will be presented at E3. We've been hearing so much about the game, so let's hope that comes to fruition. Resident Evil 2 Remake might also be at E3, and H1Z1 has had an absolutely massive first week. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.